Well, Shemai everyone, I'm delighted to be taking part in this YouTube hop, and the theme we've come up with is a fresh start. And we were sort of kind of hoping when we first chose this about 6 weeks ago that lockdown would be over and we'd be out and about. But it's not quite like that at the moment. But we were thinking of a fresh start as the theme, but also to challenge ourselves to use something that we may struggle with, to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. And for me, that's these stunning Vicky Boutin crayons. Now, in my usual style, I've got all the colours. There they are, look, aren't they pretty? All pristine because they haven't actually been opened, because I've just been a little bit too afraid to try them. So that's it. I am pushing myself out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do something with these crayons. And I'm actually using a kit I created for the challenge for the love of homemade kits that I take part in each month, which is fantastic because it makes you look through your stash and see it in a slightly different way and put things together that perhaps you wouldn't think of doing. So I'll put the description in the box below for where you can find these details. So what I'm going to do today, fresh start for me. As you probably know if you subscribe to my channel, my husband and I are building our own house, and there we go this week. Exciting times because our timber frame is starting to go in, so we've started to see our walls, which is a huge thing for us anyway. I mean, for everyone else, they might think, oh, okay, so they've got a little bit of wood there. But now the drawings that we've had on screen and in my husband's head for so long have actually started to take shape. So I wanted to scrap multi-photos, which is another thing that I don't usually do. And I'm just going to show you some of the kit I'm working with. I've got some Pink Fresh Studio small puffy stickers. I've got this leftover sheet, which is a Hey Lizzie piece of paper, but I can't remember the name of it. I love these little cutouts. I'm going to use those to lay behind my photos. Again, cut-offs, because part of the challenge this month was to use cut-offs. So I've got some there. Some small stickers. I've got these Maggie Holmes crate paper stickers that I've used lots of, but I'm determined to use these houses because they are perfect for what I want. I'm trying to sort of bash this sticker sheet. And these are some of the papers. They are Dear Lizzie, She's Magic. I'm thinking of fussy cutting these flowers. Then I've got this piece of paper, which I think was crate paper. I was going to use it the other week on a layout and decided not to in the end, but I cut off the name strip. And then I've got this lovely Dear Lizzie one. And what I'm thinking in my little brain is that these look quite like bricks to me. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want that many gaps in your wall, but I was then thinking of perhaps cutting sections, if you see what I mean, and then finishing off the wall with my Vicky Boutin crayons. Let's see how that goes. So what I'm going to do, to save you watching this for hours and hours, I'm now going to speed it up a little bit and you can see the whole process. I've also got all these flowers out and some tags and some other tags. I've got some Jen Hadfield tags and some Vicky Boutin ones here. So let's see how I get on. Okay, so here I am now. I'm just going to trim this paper down because I don't want it to be the 12 by 12 size, and I wanted to cut some sections out. And I'm going to use that paler pink to back my photos. So I'm just going to cut that section off and the pale section at the end, and this is what it looks like. Then I take some of the blocks out. My next job then, once I stick that to my basil marshmallow paper, I'm going to start filling in all the little sections with my Vicky Boutin wax crayons, art crayons, so not wax crayons. Thinking of school there. As you can see, I haven't set the focus on my camera for this section, just, you know, just to add to the excitement of it. So here I am. I'm actually using an acrylic block. This section needed a bigger sort of palette.
because you can't sort of smash the little pieces. Can you see there's little bits of the art crane have come off, which is actually fine because it all works really well. But I haven't got enough sort of space on there to sort of make those into tiny little pieces. And I'm using the worst paintbrush in the world. I think I threw it in the bin after this section. So then, as you can see, I've just tried to colour match slightly. And I'm just filling in those sections now. And I just like the fact that it does look like a wall. It looks a bit like a Minecraft wall or a wall that's been bombed, but at least I can fill in all these little sections, and it's given me an excuse to get these things out. So there we go. So that's all the sections sort of coloured there. And as you can see, that one I didn't colour match that very well at all, so I'm going to make sure I cover that one. And as you can see, I'm using a big acrylic sheet there, which it all wipes off really, really easily. So now I've used them, I won't be so scared to use them again. And I'm just going to stick that little piece back in the bottom. And I'm going to mat my photos onto this cut-off piece here. And just put them close together because I haven't got much of it and the one photo is quite long. So that's 3 of them on that paper, and then I've got another flowery offcut that I'm going to put the other 2 on. And I'm not brave enough to cut around my photos just with the scissors because I'm really wonky when I cut out straight lines. So I'll bring my trimmer in now to do this. I can't cope with the straight lines of a photo with wonky lines around it. I very, very rarely scrap more than 2, I would say, photos on a traditional 12 by 12 page. Obviously, I do it in my Project Life album all the time. So this is another thing that's slightly out of my comfort zone, but I really like the finished effect. So if it's something that you don't do very often either, give it a try, because you might well be pleased and delighted that you did do it. So here we go now. I spend a little bit of time faffing. I'm desperately trying to cover up that brick that's the wrong colour. I don't stick with this arrangement at all. I think that's what puts me off scrapbooking multi-photos, is knowing how to sort of lay them out without them always looking the same. So I put them like this, they don't stay like this. I'm going to use these little bulletin pieces now. They're going to go behind every photo, and I came up with the idea of naming each room, because it's showing the different rooms of the house. To my husband and I, we can tell exactly what room it is, but to somebody else, they're not going to know. So I thought, right, well, I'll label them all up ready. So I'm cutting all these little pieces out. I like the little washy looking strips at the top. And then each photo then I've cut the one in half so I can put the other piece at the bottom. And they're great little journaling cards. I do like cut apart sheets like this because you can use them for your journaling, but you can also use them for embellishments and layering pieces. So I'm just putting that last one on. And then I'm going to stamp the names of the rooms using a small alphabet stamp that I've got from Stampin' Up. It's very old from Stampin' Up. One of the requirements for the Love of Homemade kits this month was to have an alphabet stamp set. And now, as you can see down the bottom, I'm just laying out those little houses as if they're in a little row. I've got 2 sticker ones, and then the 2 cardboard ones I'm going to put up on foam pads. They are from the Jen Hadfield embellishment kit. And I think it's something called Home or something like that. I think it's one of her newer collections. That's probably one of the last pieces of scrapbooking items I bought, because I am on a bit of a spending freeze, not a spending spree, my word. So I'm just putting those down now so that, as I say, they look like a little row. And the one says, this is our happy place and I like this place. And I'm just going to stick those little bulletin pieces then behind my photo. And this is the stamp set I'm going to use here. It's just a basic font. I didn't want anything too fancy because sometimes then if they don't stamp particularly well, They're really hard to read. I spent ages faffing them, trying to get the whole word on one acrylic block, until I realised, no, Nicola, just stamp one letter at a time. Oh, it takes me ages to work this out, honestly. Sometimes I'm amazed at how daft I can be. So I'm thinking, I'll use a bigger block. But here I am now. So, I've stamped each name of the room, and I'm so sorry that the screen has gone smaller. For some reason, when I stopped my camera, when it restarted, it changed the orientation. So it was filming sideways, and I didn't want you to have to lie down to watch the rest of this. So there it is. I've stuck it all the pieces now be at the back, but I'm now going to add flowers under each photo layer. So as you can see, I've used black ink. I think it was just Memento black ink, and there's all the flowers there. So you've got the lounge room, which is a lounge, kitchen, diner. Then the bottom layer of the house is all garage and the porch. We've got the utility room then. Landing one, because it's a 4-story house, we've got 2 landings. And then we've taken a photo from one of our garden layers. We're going to have to have a tiered garden. The garden is the most daunting part of the house build. And so that just gives a bit of an overview then. So it's quite nice to use these flowers up because I've got a mountain of flower embellishments to use. So it's quite nice that they were in the For the Love of Homemade kits. So there we go, that's the main part of it done. I've got this nice little banner which says remember this moment, and because having seen the first of the walls up is a big momentous occasion for us, I wanted to use that. And then there's another little one I'm going to use in a second, and it says remember this remember this. That's right. So I'm just adding that on foam pads. And there's this little one here, and they look like the things you put in. Now when you've planted seeds, those little plastic labels, it looks like one of those. And it's got 3 different ones on there that you can use. I'm just going to put that there. It's so exciting to see the house coming together. It's been a dream for such a long time before we were sort of able to get started. So now it doesn't quite feel real. So I'm just going to use some more of these leaves off this sticker sheet because I'm determined to either use all these stickers up or to give the rest of them away, because I just can't keep all these things in my stash all the time. And there are some stickers I won't use, like I won't use that word favourite because it isn't spelt the English way, the British way I should say, rather than the English way. It's spelt the American way. And because I never use them, it'll look out of place there, I think, in my scrapbook. I've lost my foam pads yet again. They'd landed on the floor. And then I was trying to think of a title at this point. So this little tab here says Collect Beautiful Moments. And I make such a song and dance about trying to get a little bit of twine in it, because I do like to dress a tag up. So I've just got this pale green and white baker's twine, trying to tie a knot. Oh my word. It's like I'd lost control of my fingers or something. It's lucky I've muted the original one, because I think I was saying, for goodness sake, what's wrong with you? Just tie a knot. So how was your scrapbooking? Or have you rediscovered some mojo? Now you've got a bit more time on your hands perhaps? Or are you like me and really having to sort of push myself to do scrapbooking? I'm into my card making, but I find it really hard to flip between scrapbooking and card making. So I'm really looking forward to all the challenges from the Scrap Academy, because that, seeing as I'm sort of teaching some of the techniques, it'll make me do them as well. So there it is there. I'm just going to use the puffy stickers then to make my title. So this is my finished layout so far.
So here is my finished page. Excuse the absolute carnage on my desk. I used some of the Jen Hadfield washi tape and I tore it. I've got a piece up here and some down here, just because there wasn't quite enough colour on the page. And part of the ingredient sheet for the Love of Homemade kit was to have a small stamp alphabet set. So I used this one and I just stamped the names of the rooms that we're looking at the moment. As you can see, I've mixed up my little houses down here. I love this Be Happy for this moment, because this was a big occasion, because as I say, the first level, the timber frame's gone up. Only another 2 levels to go. So, but it was such a stunning day as well. Luckily enough, we have been really lucky with the weather, which is something you don't often say in Wales. As you can see, I used the Vicky Boutin crayons. You can't see an awful lot, but I found it quite tricky at one point to mix the colour. So luckily enough, my photos here have sort of detracted from it. But I've broken out of the pack, and I really enjoyed using them actually. So I think I'm going to try some new things, perhaps with stencils. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget that I think there are another 4 ladies taking part in this YouTube hop. So I'll put their video links below. It would be fab if you could pop by. If you've popped by to see me from their channels, thank you so much for your visit. I would dearly love it if you subscribed. And if you hit the notification bell, then you'll see what I'm up to. I'm also delighted to be taking part in the Scrap Academy, to be one of the teachers for the Scrap Academy. There's loads and loads of exciting things planned. So I really hope you join us for it all. And keep scrapping, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for joining me. Hwyl fawr.